Unfortunately, resume is not really the place where you want to show off your writing skills per se. Nothing in that 2 paragraph is going to make me want to select you. So again, my advice to you would be, hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Resume Review by Edyst, where we take some resumes submitted by you and review them for free. Before I go ahead, make sure you subscribe to this channel and like and share this video with all of your friends. In this session, what we do is we take resumes submitted by you. Even you can submit a resume. Just go to edyst.com/resume-review and submit your resume. Due to the overwhelming response, we generally take a few resumes randomly selected and review them, but fear not, the mistakes that you make are being made by others as well. So as you see me correcting others' mistakes, make sure you go back to your resume and correct them as well. If you're liking such videos that we produce, make sure to let us know in the comments below. So I'll begin with the first resume for the day. As usual, what we do is we black out all of your personal details and all of your identifying details. So if in case any of you is worried that, oh, your details are going to come out and so on, don't worry. We generally hide them. All right, so I'm going to go deeper into this one right now. So I'll zoom in a little bit because I know that this may not be completely visible to you guys right away. So let me just zoom in and I'll keep moving around as required. All right, so okay, 1 second. Yeah, so first thing what you notice there, that is on the this black side over here, this black thing over here. 1 second, I think I zoomed out a little too much. Yeah, so the first black box that you notice over here is in fact this person's photo. As I mentioned earlier, please don't keep photos in your resumes. It really does not help anybody out there. Please don't keep it. They are trying their best to do bias-free hiring, and you keep giving photos will not really help you out over there. So don't keep your photos there. I blacked out the name and so on as well, just for anonymity purpose. So you are someone from Hyderabad. You've given your website. In website you've given your LinkedIn ID, which is okay, but you could have just written LinkedIn over there. So it's completely okay to write the LinkedIn there. Email is there. That's fine. Since you are a technology student, a GitHub account is always good to keep. Now you've written a huge introduction over here, right? And I can get from the resume as well. I could see that you've done about 4 internships, all of which are into the management and marketing side of things. So I would assume that because of that, you are someone who thinks that your language skills are good and you would want to express that over here. Unfortunately, resume is not really the place where you want to show off your writing skills per se. You generally just want to highlight all of the things that you've done so far. For example, you're saying you're pursuing engineering and so. I am a practical knowledge seeker. As a part and parcel of my studying, I have been grabbing all the opportunities which I think I am good at, and I always wanted to work in an environment where my skills and knowledge reflect the growth of the company and enhance my knowledge as well as experience. That's a lot of talk for basically conveying that, hey, I'm really motivated and I just want to work in your company. It's not adding any new information, number one. And number two, as someone who's just going to go through your resumes, I will not have the patience to read that. Nothing in that 2 paragraph is going to make me want to select you. Because you're not going to write something specific to your technology or anything there, right? Remember, everybody, when you're applying to a job role, fundamental thing that you're trying to get the alignment is with your skills. So this is number one point. You're trying to say that your skills match the given job role over there. Attitude, everything will be judged in your HR round and your technical rounds. They're not going to be judged off of resume. So you can say that you're the most enterprising person, you're the most honest, hardworking, loyal, whatever you want to say. You can say that here. Nobody's going to believe you because nobody believes a resume upfront on those things. They generally rely on an interview for that. So I would say you can actually remove this entire introduction. It's not really useful at all. Coming to your experience, so you worked with Coin, you worked with Coding Ninjas, IIT Cratagens, and Internshala. All right, so coming to your experience, you worked with Coin, Coding Ninjas, IIT Cratagens, and Internshala. All good, and in fact you've also mentioned your the dates. Except for this one, you mentioned 1 November. That could be any particular day, but other than that, you actually mentioned all of the dates, and looks like you've done all of these in 2021. So just going into that one by one, you're saying that you're here working as an intern in finance management, made me excellent in Excel data analysis, which also include working with Google Data Studio. I also created dynamic charts and reports, being consistent in work, and also how to drive systems by the process. You have told me what tools you've used, but you've not told me what you did over there. So were you analyzing payroll? Were you analyzing spends of the organization? What exactly were you doing? It would be really nice if you in the first line said, as a finance intern or as a finance management intern, I worked for ABC, like spend management, revenue management, etc., using Excel, or using data analysis via Excel, right? And I think somewhere you mentioned Google Data Studio, so using Excel and Google Data Studio for management, right? Or for analysis. That would give me much more understanding of what you've actually done. And charts and reports also. So you can just created charts and reports using Excel and Google Data Studio. Being consistent in work and so on, not really required over here. Coming to coding ninjas, so you were a ninja entrepreneur. You created an updated company digital presence to enhance summer internship marketing through a professional website and organized social media profiles. I know this is a fancy way of saying that you were just basically managing the digital presence. So what you need to mention here is you were working on the summer internship marketing project, and via the social media platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whichever, but you need to mention those platforms, because again, if I am someone who's trying to hire you for a social media role, then I want to know which social media channels you've actually used. Here you just said organize social media profile, so you need to tell me exactly what it is, and if not that, then I think I've misunderstood you. So in either case, some clarity is needed here. Sourced initial funding to get business up and running while planning initial structure and making strategic first hires. Okay, great. So you've done like hiring and so on as well. Strategic first hires in what domains? Funding from which places? So assuming you've got like VC funding, I don't think so, but assuming that, you need to mention like what kind of firms, how much funding, and so on. That's what you need to kind of mention here. Used coordination and planning skills to achieve results according to schedule. You've not mentioned what results though, like how many have you marketed, how many got purchased. You've not mentioned in what time frame. Like I know that's May to October, but was it like in a 2-month time frame you sold X number? That would be better. You can't just say used. Like this line here is very vague. I'm not actually getting what you did in this sense over here. Campus ambassador, develop marketing efforts such as posters and social media ads to encourage students' participation for campus events. Okay, promoted campus awareness of activities and engagement opportunities with on-campus table tents, email distribution, social media promotion, supported campus events to increase student engagement and promote campus-wise initiatives. Okay, this is much better because I'm able to at least understand what you've done here. Still, what would be nice to do is, I have no idea what triple IT Strategies is even. Like, so are you talking about a fest? Are you talking about some workshop? So would be nice to say that worked as campus ambassador for so and so fest and so workshop, and worked specifically on posters and ads on so and so platforms. Like the platforms are missing here. I don't know which platforms etc. you were speaking about. So that would be good. But yes, the table tents, email distribution, that is nice. Finally, I have no idea how many people you actually reached out to. Was it thousands, 2,000s, 10,000s? Something I need to know so that I know what kind of an effort you've done. If you just spread this word amongst 5 friends on WhatsApp, it's not really worth sharing over here, right? Okay, coming to Internshala student partner, participate in continuous improvement by generating suggestions, engaging in problem solving activities to support teamwork. No idea what you did here. This is just some random words that are making up a sentence, but I am not able to understand what you've done here. Work to maintain outstanding attendance record, consistently arriving to work, ready to start immediately. Great, but this is not a school where you get attendance marks. Maintained energy and enthusiasm in a fast-paced environment. Good, but that is expected of you. If you didn't maintain it, would be a problem. So that's the bare minimum. Overall, I don't know at all what you've done in this ISP 21 program. And if there is really nothing of note you have done, there's no point mentioning it here because it will come up in the interview. And if you're again going to say these things, then you will again look like somebody who's not really done much in this internship, which will look even worse. So I would suggest you don't need to actually even keep it here. Remove it if there's nothing of note to show. Okay, coming to the education part. So All right, so I didn't even comment on the layout though. One thing I would try to say is good that you mentioned the experience first, and it's really good that you have so much experience. Everybody watching this video, please note that this is what good experience looks like. You don't need to have had 10 technical internships to show an experience. It's good. However, one key thing here, none of these experiences translate to an engineering role. So just apart from the first coin one, every other one does not translate to an engineering role. If you're applying for an engineering role, I don't know how much these other three would help you. What I mean to say is, if I just go below on your resume, if you're applying for any engineering role, your technical skills and your amazing certification, like you have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 certifications, that is much more than many other people. These will help you much more than your Ninja Entrepreneur, your ISP 21, and your IIIT Credentials and so on, right? So just look out for the job you're applying to and do accordingly. Like if you're applying for community manager roles, program manager roles and so on, this is fine. But if you're applying for like SDE roles, SDE1 roles, not to your fresher, but SD1 roles, or a full stack developer roles and so on, those starting 3-4 is not really helping your cause as such, because we're going to look for technical skills. All right, coming to education, it's fine what you mentioned here. Would be nice if you mentioned your CGPA till now. So you are in Bojareddy Engineering College for Women. Please mention your CGPA till now. Your junior college is fine. Probably mention your subjects in junior college, but that's still okay without mentioning. And high school, yeah, this is fine. I have the dates also, so this is good. Yeah, one thing that you not mentioned, okay, you have mentioned your CSE major. Okay, fair enough. That's fine. Coming to technical skills, so how you formatted the rest of your resume, this looks a bit undone. Like it looks very ad hoc. Like I don't know why you would like to keep it like this. Probably you don't have full control on the format, in which case get a better format. So technical skills, you said programming languages: C, C++, Python, Java, basic, backend PHP, SQL, front-end HTML, CSS, other DS, OS, DBMS, COSE. This all is good. This all is good. The fact that you mentioned these skills are great. Soft skills: leadership, passionate. Remove all these soft skills. Not at all needed, actually. Really not at all needed. Nobody is going to hire you because, oh, you wrote organization and efficient in your soft skills. Great. If you don't have enough space to, if you don't have, you've not filled your resume enough, then I would still suggest you can put these things. Now, not needed at all. So coming to languages, you mentioned this. Again, this is really not needed unless you are applying for roles that require like bilingual or more proficiency. As such, this is not going to do you any advantages. So I would really not, put this over here, or put it below along with your soft skills, right? And achievements. Okay, coming to certifications. So these are good certifications. Like you've done a Python for Everybody, machine learning through Coursera, introduction to Python, introduction to AWS, and so on. So these are good to have. A slight modification I would say is mention 2 bullet points, or at least mention a description in each certification. So as an interviewer, I know what topics you have done. For instance, in AWS identity and access management, what is the kind of IAM roles that you have looked at? Like, have you looked at admin roles, manager roles, giving access to EC2 instances, to S3 buckets and so on? So what exactly have you done? If you can just give 1 sentence or 2 sentences, 2 benefits of that. One, in the case that your resume is being analyzed by an applicant tracking system, which is generally what happens these days, it's going to be automatically tracked. And if it's automatically tracked, then they will look for these keywords. So the moment you mention these keywords, there are a better chance of you to get shortlisted. Number 2, as an interviewer, I know that I can ask you on these topics. Otherwise, I will ask you, what did you do in the Python course? And then you'll mention you did ABC things. And then I'll ask you. So to reduce that one question and to give you more time in the interview, it's better you just mention at least 1 line or 2 lines on each certification. Where will you make space for this? Remove your soft skills not needed. Remove these languages not needed. And please try to move these certifications up. It would be better if you move them up and move out some of these, or move this in extracurricular. If you're applying for SDE roles, software roles. Otherwise, if you're just applying for your program manager, community manager roles, it's better to keep this up here. Still, what you're missing here are numbers. How many people you've interacted with, how much impact you've had, how many results you've driven, and so on. Right. So that would be for this first resume. I would give this one, again, I'm all lenient, but I would probably give this like 2.5 or even 3, in the sense that if I had to shortlist, if I was at a campus round, I would shortlist you. In an off-campus round, not so sure, but you would still shortlist you because of the number of things you've done here. So I would probably give you 2.5 or 3 on 5, but still lots of room for improvement. So please do follow that room for improvement. All right, now let's go on to the second resume. Before I go there, if you like this kind of resume review, or if you feel I have made a mistake somewhere that I should have pointed out something else, or if you have some confusion, let us know in the comments below. We'd be happy to respond to anything that you guys suggest. All right, let's go on to the next one. Okay, so again, I think it is some fashion to put your photo. So this person has also put their photo over here. Okay, great. I mean, if you guys want to do that, you do it, but it's really not needed. And one interesting thing I found was this person, let's call this person as Donald. Okay, so this person's name is not Donald, but let's say this person's name was Donald. What's mentioned over here is their full name. Let's say Donald Trump is what's mentioned over here. And in the subtitle, it's again mentioned Donald. I don't know why. So I blacked it out, but again, I'm telling you, that's not the person's name. Donald Trump has not applied for this resume review. But my point is, why did they write 2 names? I didn't understand at all. So you, whoever's watching, I don't know why you wrote like Donald Trump and then Donald. Like why both names? Why the same name again? It just doesn't make sense. Okay, let's get into this. You've at least mentioned your email, your phone number, your location, though not necessarily required, your LinkedIn, your GitHub, your Medium as well. Very good. One thing is, make sure that when I go to this GitHub or when I go to this Medium, there is something for me to see. I have not gone and explored, but if there is nothing for me to see, if it's just a blank account, then this is more disadvantage than an advantage. So the details there are good, and the skills you mentioned are also, we'll come to the skills. Let's finish this one first. Okay, coming to education. So you're from Lendi College. All right, I know that college, and intermediate is here. Okay, courses you mentioned MPC. Want to mention this especially to AP and Telangana students. MPC is a very common phrase you guys use, but not everybody throughout the country possibly knows, because some people are like in the north call it PCM, right? And then for bio they say PCB. So there's no issue in you mentioning maths, physics, chemistry. It's not like it's a tweet where your number of characters are limited or something, right? You can actually mention maths, physics, chemistry. So just because you say MPC in your childhood doesn't mean you put that over here also. All right, another thing is, do give some respect to your college, like Lendi, then Institute of Engineering and Technology. Institute Engineering and Technology in capitals would be good. In general, an advice for everybody watching, please do a thorough grammar check, and you don't need to do it yourself. You can check out this tool called Grammarly. Then it will do a grammar check on your entire text. So it's much better you get some grammar check done on all your resumes. All right. Okay, so you mentioned your education here. I don't understand why you mentioned I want to make this world bigger. I don't know what it means. What do you mean by you want to make this world bigger? Do you want to create another Earth somewhere? What really are you trying to talk about? Like, do you want to make everybody really, really fit and bulked up so that everybody becomes bigger? Like, what do you mean by making the world bigger? I didn't understand that. Sorry. So, anyway, jokes aside, so I just don't understand this part. You've also not mentioned your CGPA in either one of them. So it would be good if you did mention CGPA over here. Okay, personal projects. Build a website for knowing the IP location of, build a website for knowing the location of an IP address using Svelte. Great. Are you talking about Svelte.js, which is a front-end framework? In that case, mention Svelte.js there. You've also mentioned that you did it from December 21 to December 21. Means you probably spent a month on it, which is fine, but I have no idea what this website even does. Like, you just have to enter an IP address and it automatically gets the address of that. If that's the case, is it all front end? Is there some backend application? You've not mentioned any of those over here. So, do mention something. Otherwise, this is just a one string or like one title, which is not really mentioning anything here. Another thing, okay, let's go to this one. Build a web browser extension for Microsoft Edge. Above mentioned project is based on HTML and CSS. Again, which web browser extension? Does the web browser block ads? Does it remember passwords? Does it control your YouTube playlist? What does this web browser do? You can't just say I built a web browser and just be, don't mention anything. Like, I have no idea what this does. And okay, you done it as part of a team, very good. But who did what? So remember, everyone, when mentioning project, you should mention what it is, what does it do, what technologies have you used. You need to mention all these three things and then your specific role in that technology. So those are the fourth point is till the maximum that you should write over here. And I have no idea when you've done this web browser extension. In the first one you wrote date, in the second one you've not. So again, two projects which I have no idea what they are. First one is a website, but is it hosted anywhere? Is there a backend? I know there is some front end. That's it. I don't even know where it is. Like, is it on GitHub? You've not mentioned any URL. Second one, I don't even know when it's done and what it is even. I don't even know that. Third one, other simple projects. Bad grammar, first of all. Second, getting some random information using Python. Not specific enough. What random information? Can I get any random information like what's the distance between Mars and Neptune? How much jeera I'm supposed to put in dal? Like, any random information I can get? I do not think so. Don't understand this. Shutting down PC using Python. This must be a sample script that you've written. Not impressive enough to put as a project. Some demo web pages using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Which demo web pages? Tell us, and share. If it's just a static website, host it on Heroku, host it on Netlify, host it somewhere, and just share it with us. We'll be happy to see it. So why some demo web pages? Edge detection, OpenCV project using Python. This is still a very common one, but still you could mention a little bit about something, right? Like edge detection using, it's a command line interface. What's the accuracy of it? Mention something along those lines. So again, none of these projects are making sense to me. I am on the other hand getting the impression that these are probably the most popular projects that you and your friends could find, and this is what you guys ended up doing then. So yeah, I would not really be, and the thing is, the potential is there in all of these projects, right? Even in these other simple projects, just take up the edge detection and take the other two projects, that's the web browser and the IP address, and you're good to go. That's three solid projects, three projects you can take to any interview and you'll have a decent chance. But you're really sabotaging yourself by mentioning no information and actively withholding information, like hiding information. So please don't do that. Organizations, NSS, and very specifically said NSS volunteer. Okay, mention one or two activities you've done with the NSS. That would be good. Certification of PCAP, Programming Essentials in Python. Okay, great. Again, mention a few concepts that you covered of Python in there. That would be good. You mentioned interest in advanced technology and artificial intelligence. What do you mean by advanced technology? Is that not artificial intelligence? Is there some other advanced technology? Mention that advanced technology here, or don't mention it at all, right? Don't mention anything vague. In fact, you can remove this interests altogether completely. You don't even need it. If you do need it, then mention something specific. Coming to skills, this is fine. Communication and poster design, I would not really encourage you to put it as a skill. It's not really a worthwhile skill to put over here. Communication, they'll judge you whether you have good communication skills or not. And in fact, if your English is not good, then they will say that, oh, you put as a skill, but your not English, your communication is not that great. Please, it'll be a negative effect for you. So I would say you remove those two. So all in all, much better showcase of project. Like, you literally docked 1 point just because you mentioned project, but you didn't mention what they are. Like, I can see the potential, but you're doing yourself an injustice by not mentioning it. So that's the projects part. Coming to organizations, mention the specific one or two activities that you've done. And if you feel you've not done that many, then move the certificates up, right? And in terms of certificates, also again, great that you put the certificate here, mention one or two concepts you learned. And please try to mention the link of where I can get the certificate. Like the previous student had actually shown links as well of their certificate, right? So I've hidden that over here, but you can actually see that they've definitely done those certifications. So you should also try to mention those certification links if you get a publicly verifiable certificate. So yeah, that's one thing. So overall, and there is a bunch of white space below. If you were to expand on each of these projects, you would get none of this white space below as well. So overall, I would give your resume about 2 on 5. It could have easily been a 3 or 3.5 if you had mentioned the projects properly, but you've not. So looking at this, I would not shortlist you for an off-campus or an on-campus interview, simply because I don't know what you've done in the projects, right? Have you mentioned more on that? You definitely get shortlisted as in an on-campus or an off-campus round. All right. So that is the second resume, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed that one. If you guys feel that I missed out on saying something, please let me know in the comments below, and do share with your friends who you feel might benefit from this kind of a resume review. And let's go on to the last and final one, which is this. All right, so let me go through it. Let me just get a glance. So initially I can just see this is the third resume. Initially I can see that at least the formatting is a little better, I would try to say, but let's see, maybe you've gone for the format which fits in all your details, and you try to fill in a lot of things. So it's another thing. Anyways, let's go step by step. So you mentioned your projects right away. Would be always better to mention your education above your projects. So please bring your education above the projects. I'll start with your education. You're in some college, 2023 graduate. Okay. You did a diploma up to 2020 and you were in high school. All right. So this is great. You mentioned all of your, CGPA and so on. I don't know the diploma as well as the BTech is in which field. So is it CSE, EC? I don't know that. And I'm pretty sure it's not even hidden behind the black thing. So that's one big issue. I don't know which branch you are in to begin with. All right. Okay. Now let's coming to over here. You've given your name and you've also given your phone number, which is fine. You're not given any LinkedIn and or GitHub. So that's an opportunity missed. I'm not saying that that's an issue. It's an opportunity missed, and you could put it here. This side, it's fine. You still have space there, so you could put it somewhere here. All right, let's go to the projects. A secure and dynamic multi-keyword search scheme over encrypted cloud data. Built an web application. So that's already grammatical issue. Please fix that. Built a web application where the owners of the data can easily store data or files to the cloud, which will be encrypted, and the users can request for the file they want. The owners will be given access to the users through the unique description key to their mail. The tools used are Spring Tool Suite. The languages used are Java, HTML, CSS. Project done in diploma final year. Okay, this is a pretty cool project, except you've not mentioned which cloud provider you use. So you claim that you've actually allow people to just store encrypted data, right? Like it could be files or anything else. This is fine, but is it a web application? Is it a mobile application? It's a web, I think, because of Java, HTML, CSS, especially HTML, CSS. But still, mention created. You've actually written over this. Sorry, my bad. You've written built a web application. Sorry for that. Yes, I didn't. Okay, built a web application where the owners of the data can easily. All right. So now I guess what I'm looking for here is more of an explanation on the interface. Like it's a web application where people can upload their files and retrieve them securely. Is that what you're trying to say? Try to mention that. But you also mentioned multi-keyword search scheme over encrypted cloud data. So is it that people can also search for their data that they have uploaded? Not getting that full clarity. So instead of a paragraph, I would suggest you write like 3 bullet points. In the first bullet point, mention created an interface or built a web application where users upload files and search their files and is all encrypted. Second, how is the encryption even happening? Like, do I get a specific password? In which case you have to mention that people upload files and a particular password. If not, then how really is the encryption happening? So you need to mention how the encryption is happening over here. And I have no idea over here how you've used encryption, in the sense, have you devised your own algorithm? Have you used an existing algorithm? Have you used some existing library? So please mention that as well over here. And finally, if you've done all of this, GitHub link and deploy it. Deploy this project and give the GitHub link. And if you can't have the GitHub link or you can't deploy it, then it's a problem. That means you're not really good at this project yourself. So please try to deploy it. It would be really nice if you did that. Okay, currently in our third year, now I'm working on the project called Aneeq or Edyst A companion robot with endless fun. The robot is a little desktop companion bot which achieves emotional intelligence that brings up a higher level of social interactions between humans and robots. Wow, if you've been able to create that, that's awesome. This is the IoT based and AIML based project where we use different sensors, actuators and AIML algorithms. Okay, great. In terms of technologies mentioned, very good. What you have not mentioned is what exactly is it? Is it like a small tiny robot? Is it just an Arduino board? What exactly is it? You mentioned a robot. When you say robot, I'm imagining the Wall-E type robot, something going around, or like Robocop or something is what I'm imagining. So what is this? Like, is it a small robot? What? Just give us some idea over here. So, created a robot or created a tool or something, and how does it achieve emotional intelligence? Like, do I speak to it and it speaks back to me? Is it like a voice assistant? Can it move? Can it hug somebody? Like, it's all fun and cool to say that it achieved emotional intelligence, but what can it actually do? Like, can it speak to me? So those are things you have to mention over here. So you've used a lot of buzzwords, IoT, AIML and so on, but I'm not understanding what it is. Mention what it is specifically. What does it do? Does it talk to you? Does it send you messages? Mention that. Number 3, the technologies used. So even in AIML, like what libraries have you used? Which programming language have you used? Where is it deployed? All of those stuff, really good to mention. And finally, what is your specific role? Even IoT over here, what's the library, what technology, all of that. So sounds good, but it's a bit vague over here. So I'm having a tough time believing that this project actually works right now. Another one, Drive to Destiny. It's a web application where various companies and job seekers can register. Job seekers can register and apply for the various jobs, can upload their CV, which enables the companies to view all the job seekers' profiles. Where's your full stop? This is continuously going on. I'm almost rapping right now. Okay, job seekers profiles and make easy for them to hire the best and efficient employees to their esteemed organization. The domain used there is .NET and HTML. A better way to write this is created a job application web portal. Users can upload their resumes and company can view the resumes of applicants. Has been created using .NET and HTML. That's it. Like, so the third line would be that created using .NET and HTML. That's where you would stop. But, and again, 2-3 things here. Have you created 2 separate logins for companies and users? So that's something that you need to mention here. Created a web application that allows separate logins for companies as well as job applicants. Companies can view applicants and applicants can upload their resumes and view open jobs. So that's how I would describe your project over here. And yeah, domain uses .NET and HTML. Again, in .NET, which library? Is there any specific other library that you've used? Good GitHub link for this to get the source code, and also try to actually deploy it. If it's a complete project, deploy it on Heroku or something, and so that will add much more credibility to your project. CRUD operations. The operations like create, retrieve, update, and delete can be performed on the data. This is done using PyCharm. This I have no idea what it is. Again, you need to mention in the CRUD operations, like, is it a server that you created? Is it like using PyCharm is an IDE. You could have used Flask, you could have used Django, you could have used any of these. So, or you could have used none of these. You could have used Fast API, right? The point is, you've not mentioned which framework you've used here, or you use something else. So I don't think CRUD is the right, or if you've just basically just used a database and connected with Python, then mention that it's a database specific project. So I'm not getting a whole lot from this. So it looks like you've done some projects, but apart from probably the first project, the other 3 projects are very, I would say, poorly written, such that I'm not getting any idea of what that project is. So it's almost a waste of your effort. You've done so much, right? But you're not conveying what you've done. Okay, other stuff, you've done cloud foundations and cloud architecting internships. I think these are certifications, but I'm just trying to check here. Okay, you've done these at another platform. Fair enough. Again, these would probably be certifications and not really an internship, but fair enough. If they're calling it an internship, you can call it an internship. You not mentioned the date that you did this in, and as I mentioned for the prior 2 candidates, please mention the concepts covered in each. Like in cloud foundations, cloud architecting, what are the different concepts you've covered in each of them. That would be nice. Skills, you mentioned Java, C, C++. Okay, these are all fine. Why your MS Office is different from these other skills? It should just be same in terms of formatting. So this is okay, except you have not mentioned like Spring, even though you claim that you use Spring tool over there. You have not mentioned any AI ML algorithm, but you claim to have used that in your project. You have not mentioned IoT, even though you claim to use that in your project. So your skills can be much more. Also, better formatting, Java J should be capital over here, ideally. Okay, coming to hobbies, collecting proverbs, drawing, arts and crafts, and capabilities, a bunch of soft skills. If at all you want to mention this should be below your achievement. Having said that, neither of these hobbies as well as capabilities, neither of them are any great that I feel like asking you anything. Like, these are all filler. They're not really giving us anything right now. The collecting proverbs probably is the only one in which I can say is a little unique. Drawing, arts and crafts, mention it if you need to. You don't really need to, but you mention if you want to, I mean to say. Capabilities, have good communication skills. Again, nobody will say they have bad communication skills. Nobody say that they have negative attitude. These are all filler. You don't need to keep them there. If you can't get anything, rather if you have too much white space you are afraid of, make sure your projects are formatted better. Make sure your achievements have 1 or 2 bullet points, or at least your certifications have 2-3 bullet points. That would be much better. Coming to achievements, undergone industrial training in NSIC, National Small Industrial Corporation, and 1 certificate. Cool. What training was it? That is, what are some of the things you learned in the training? And 2, when was it? Was this in your school time? Did you do it recently? So mention those things. Secured 2nd prize in Hyderabad Archdiocese Educational Society in Telugu essay writing. Again, very okay achievement. Like, congrats on getting that. I know it will be very competitive. But if you go for an engineering job, not really something that will get you a lot of what I can say, shortlisting. So again, if you're going for an engineering job, not something that's going to help you get shortlisted in this one. So that's one thing. Secured prize in PPT presentation. Again, I just feel like you're just telling random things and you expect us to be completely in tune with your life and remember which PPT and what. PPT presentation on what? PPT presentation on time management, on best restaurants in your locality, or on some technical concept. So you should mention that over here. And in which year? You've not mentioned your year in any of them. Winner at drawing competition in school, participate in various competitions. Again, this is very filler. Keep it if you need to. Just because you won a drawing competition sometime in school doesn't mean you'll get a job right now. Very, very filler. Keep it if you can't absolutely think of anything else. So again, my advice to you would be, your projects can be much better formatted. Your internships can be much better elaborated. If you still have white space after that, I would suggest you get more projects and more internships. That's the best way to actually counter this, rather than putting all this filler over here. So your first 2 achievements or 3 achievements can still be put there. Others all I would really not suggest that you put there. And capabilities you can remove completely. And skills you can add more, as I mentioned. So overall, to your resume, I would give 2 out of 5. This would not be shortlisted in an on-campus or off-campus round if I was on the panel. So I'll give you 2 on 5. But you're graduating next year. You have so many ways you can improve. You already have enough content that you can make it a 4 on 5 really easily, or a 3.5 easily, which will get you to be shortlisted. And beyond that, if you do 1 or 2 other good projects, or at least just basically complete this project, probably explain it completely, then you can probably come to a 3.5 really easily, right? So yeah, those are my feedback for you. Everybody watching, if you feel that it was harsh or it was easy or whatever your opinion is, please let us know in the comments below. That's it for this time's resume review. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you want to get your resume reviewed, please go to edyst.com/resume-review and we'll be happy to review it. And do let us know in the comments below what other kind of segments you'd like us to do. What other kind of videos would you like to see from our side? That's it from our side, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in, and wish you all a great day or night ahead. Thank you so much.